Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talk Tottenham here with your host Tom, bringing you a match preview for tomorrow's huge London derby at home against Chelsea in the Premier League as Mauricio Pochettino comes back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in what will prove to be a huge game for both clubs, but particularly for Spurs. Can we get back to the top of the Premier League? Manchester City won 6-1 at the weekend at home to Bournemouth, so they are top right now. But should Spurs get the win tomorrow against Chelsea, we will go back. We will go 2 points ahead of City at the top of the league. You may recognise a difference in this video. That's right, I am down in London. I am staying here at a travel lodge actually in London, and that is because I actually did the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tour yesterday with my family. And it was a really great day, really great day, and well worth doing if you're thinking of doing the tour. It brought back memories actually of the old tour that I did at White Hart Lane, which must have been about 20 years ago, maybe longer. And just everything about the club and the stadium is just so different. It really was just such a, just the appreciation, I suppose, of how far the club has come, the infrastructure that they've put in place. I mean, the new stadium is just a work of art. It really is. All the beautiful rooms that they've got, the technology they put into the audio visual and the screens. The one thing that I was a little bit surprised about with the tour is that it's very much an audio based tour. So we got welcomed by the host who kind of introduced the tour and took us to the first stop. But then after that, it was very much plug yourself into your radios, and it was more of a self guided tour. Personally speaking, I can understand why companies do this now, but for me, you can't beat the guided tour with someone kind of taking you around and showing you around the stadium, and just kind of coming up with the stories. That's really what I kind of was missing a little bit, and but maybe it's just a sign of the times. Maybe I'm just showing my age as well a little bit. But yeah, brilliant day, and just the highlight being probably for me just walking out of the tunnel onto the pitch, actually taking it in from the tunnel and looking out at the ground. I mean, it is just just an absolute fantastic sight to behold, really, and the changing rooms are great as well, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a great day yesterday with the family. So yeah, that was the tour. I'm actually back up to Scotland later today. That's where I live now. I live in Edinburgh, but originally from just south of London, originally in Hampshire. So anyway, I ramble on, but back to the football, back to tomorrow's game. As I say, Chelsea are the next visitors to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the stadium where we still have a 100% winning record. I think we've won, is it 4 games? I think, yeah, it's 4 games I think we've played at home, so this will be the 5th. Can we do it? Can we get the victory? I don't think I've ever been so confident going into a match against Chelsea, which says something, because let's be honest, guys, our record against Chelsea is absolutely appalling over the years. Growing up as a young boy, back in the 90s and early 2000s, you just kind of resigned yourself that every season you were going to lose, especially away. I mean, the away record at Stamford Bridge has never improved, but it has at home. I remember when Aaron Lennon and Michael Dawson scored in that 2-1 win. I think that must have been around like 2008, 2009 time. And that was the first time that we actually beat them in the league at home for God knows how many years. I think that was the first win for about 10 years or so. And since then, there's been a few victories, isn't there? There's been a few victories, and even last season, Kane and Skippy scoring the goals in what was a 2-0 win for us. I also remember a Luka Modric goal in a 1-0 win. That was at the old White Hart Lane. So yeah, we have picked up the odd result of late, but tomorrow's game, as I say, never been so confident. With Chelsea sitting in 11th or 12th, they haven't really played very well this season. Spurs, on the other hand, were absolutely flying. I think this game is very, like Sky and the media, they're going to build it up, aren't they, as Pochettino's big return. But for me, I think let's just continue working on our football. Let's just continue doing what we've been doing. Let's take the game to them and let them worry about us. So yeah, in this video, guys, I want to give you my sort of predicted lineup again, and the scoreline. Injury team news before I go into that lineup. There does appear to be a few concerns there at left back. So Ange has come out and said that Destiny Udogie is rated at 50-50. Ben Davies also has a knock. So, those two, I would say, are probably 50-50. Who else have you got? You've obviously got the long-term injuries of Mana Solomon and even Perisic. I don't think we're going to be seeing them for a while. Bentancur is obviously back now, but probably not fit enough to start. Other than that, tell me if I've missed anyone in the comments, guys. But I think that's basically it. I don't think we're doing all right in the injury department. We're doing all right. This is actually something that I've seen us. This is something that I've seen improve from us in certainly this season. Look at last season. We had pretty much a whole team out injured at one point. But yeah, no, the injury record has definitely turned around. So yeah, I think Ange is going to set us up exactly the same way, guys, in this game, which would be the 4-2-3-1 formation with Vic, the Vic man, Vicario in goal. Name me one better goalkeeper in the Premier League this season, guys. I really can't. I can't think of one. And it's just brilliant. You see the goalkeeping problems that team down the road have got, where he's absolutely killed Ramsdale's confidence, isn't he? Absolutely killed him. And us, we've been. It looks like we've sorted out our goalkeeping issues. I've said it before. Lloris was turning into a bit of a liability towards the end of last season. It was definitely time for a change. Ironically, we were actually the team looking at bringing Raya in, but in hindsight now, I think it was definitely a good decision to not do that and go for Vic. So yeah, Vicario in goal just brings that calming presence at the back. Great with his feet, seems to make the right decisions, comes across his physical presence. Vicario in goal. Right back again, Pedro Porro, who, absolutely brilliant performances this season. It's almost like watching a different player. I remember when he started at the club, that first game away at Leicester, when that was a terrible match, wasn't it? When we lost 4-1 back in February, and I remember Tim Sherwood coming out on Soccer Saturday and basically writing him off, questioning why. I remember him saying, why have Tottenham spent 40 million on a player like this? Well, that's why we've spent the money on him, because he's turning in some really, really good performances this season, and he looks good on the ball. We know that he's a threat going forward, but he's really improved defensively as well. So Pedro Porro to start at right back. Next to him, Christian Romero again. Fantastic performances from Romero this season. We're going to need a cool, calm head in this game. Chelsea are probably set up pretty similar to us, I would have thought, with probably would it be Nicholas Jackson up front and maybe Sterling playing just off him. So yeah, I think it's a big game for Romero, and next to him obviously Mickey van de Ven. I don't think Chelsea are just going to come and lie down. Obviously, they'll probably pose a threat in the game, but going back the other way, And, Romero and Van der Ven have just got to do what they've been doing all season, which is just, putting their bodies on the line, passing out from the back, keeping things ticking over, playing the ball into Sarr and Basuma in the midfield. Notice there was a little spoiler alert there, guys. But yeah, more of the same, guys. The defence this season has just been something which has just surprised me so much. With all the problems we had last season, 63 goals or 62 goals conceded across the whole of the league last season was just completely unacceptable. And yeah, it's just absolutely brilliant to see how well the boys have turned it round. So left back, well, obviously, as you know, guys, I'm a massive Destiny Udogie fan, and I'm really keeping my fingers crossed in this game that he's going to be fit in this match. But for whatever reason, if him and Ben Davies don't make it, then we probably will see Emerson Royale at left back. And if we do, then that is going to be a position that Chelsea would definitely look to try and get some joy. I think Emerson's okay. He's definitely improved. He was a player that I think we'd all wrote off, at some stage in his career. But fair play to Emerson. He's turned it round and has become more of a squad player this season. But he's always come in and done a job. I just don't think, clearly, if Emerson starts, we're going to miss something majorly on that left-hand side. We'd miss it anyway if Ben Davies was playing. Really, we do need Udogie in this game. So let's just hope that, the 10 days rest from the knock that he picked up against Fulham, hopefully that's enough to get him back playing. But I'll put Udogie in the team and just hope and pray that he's ready. First player in the midfield, Yves Bissouma. So yeah, Bissouma's performances in the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks I think have dipped. This is a player who started the season off so well. I remember in games particularly against Bournemouth, Manchester United. He was brilliant at the Emirates as well. Bissouma has just been brilliant this season, but we didn't see that same Bissouma, I didn't feel, against Palace, and obviously with the sending off at Luton. He didn't play in the Fulham game, obviously, but I want to see that Bissouma back, the Bissouma that we saw at the start of the season with those driving runs, because he has been a revelation this season. But we need to keep those performances at 8 or 9 out of 10 if we're going to stay at the top of the league, because whenever Højbjerg has come in, and I'm not for 1 minute saying that I put Højbjerg in, but Højbjerg has been playing well when he's come in. So that is a good enough reason anyway for Bissouma to carry on playing well in this game. So obviously we know that he's one booking away from, there were fears, weren't they, that he wasn't even going to make this game. But he will, and I'm sure Ange will play him. So Bissouma in the middle, next to him Pape Matar Sarr. For me, Sarr has been brilliant in the last few games. After he experienced a little bit of a dip. And let's be honest, guys, these players, it's going to be impossible for them to sustain 9 out of 10 performances in every single game. That's just not possible. But Sarr's been great. Bissouma, has been good for most of the season. But yeah, Pape Matar Sarr, especially at Palace, that's kind of swept ball across the midfield for our second goal. That was just a brilliant crossfield pass and really made that goal. And I thought Sarr was brilliant at Palace. Absolutely brilliant, and we're going to need him and Bissouma right on their game, because they're going to be probably up against the likes of Enzo Fernandez, not quite sure, well, Palmer and probably Gallagher in that midfield as well. It's going to be a different probably challenge that Chelsea pose us this season. They're going to keep the ball themselves. It's going to be a real sort of like possession game. I don't think Chelsea will sit back. I don't think Pochettino will do that. And I think that should play into our hands. I don't think it's going to be like the physical Chelsea performances in the midfield that we saw, whenever we had to play them with the likes of, like Makaleli, and Kante and players like that. They haven't got those players anymore to do that. So, yeah, those two will be in the double pivot. On the right, Dejan Kulusevski. Yeah, he's been great this season. Obviously, as I've said in other videos as well, would really like to get his goal and assist percentages up. But what I love about Kulusevski, you just get really honest performances from him each week. He's always doing the simple things right. He's like a machine, isn't he, when he's running up that right-hand side. I think he's such a team player. He's such a team player that, he's almost impossible to drop at the moment, because he just offers us so much more and just seems so much more confident on the ball this season as well. But, yeah, I think had other players like Richarlison, had they had their scoring boots on this season, Kulusevski would have had probably like 5 assists. But as it stands, I think he's probably only got like maybe 2 or 3. And maybe a couple of goals as well. Yeah, I think he scored against Fulham and Bournemouth, didn't he? So Kulu on the right, obviously James Maddison in the middle. I was actually sat in James Maddison's seat yesterday in the changing room. It was great just having the Maddison shirt above me, and yeah, what I love about Maddison as well is he's such a personality. Such a leader in the changing room. I can imagine him, like talking to the other players, getting us up for the game. We've missed that kind of like presence, I think, in the changing room in recent seasons. We haven't had a leader, we haven't had a talker, but Maddison is just taken on that role with aplomb, and he's relishing it, and the performances are there as well. And he is, for me, Tottenham's most important player right now. Probably along with Romero and Son, and it's great that they're all part of the leadership team at Tottenham as well, and they're all captains, and it's just brilliant. On the left, this is again on the left-hand side. This is where we have to think about it, because it's not set in stone who's going to be playing out on that left-hand side. Obviously, it's a toss-up between Richarlison guys and Brennan Johnson. So let's look at this. Which player would you pick, guys, on that left-hand side? Richarlison seems to have the nod at the moment, doesn't he? And it's fair to say that the performances have definitely improved from Richarlison. I thought he was good against Fulham. I thought he was okay at Palace. Still pretty wasteful, but again, much better performances. Sounds like the ambulance or the police, which is hardly surprising when you're staying here in London. Anyway, yeah, Richarlison's performances have been much better this last few weeks. However, that said, I'm a big fan of Brennan Johnson, and I've seen enough in the short minutes that he has had for Tottenham that I think he is the better option on that left-hand side. He's more direct. We've got the pace. I've seen those comparisons to Dele Alli. I actually think it's brilliant. He does it. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that before anyone else said, but he does remind me of Ali, that raw potential. And it's just brilliant. So yeah, for me, I think Johnson is the man who needs to start. But I wouldn't be surprised if Ange plays Richarlison as well, particularly as Richarlison can definitely get under like Chelsea's skin. But for me, I would be looking at bringing him on maybe in the last 20 minutes or half an hour if the game's still really tight. But I'm going to go for Brennan Johnson in this game. And then, of course, the man up top in that false 9, 8 goals already this season. The man reborn, he's like a different player this season. Well, it's not a different player, it's just like the Sonny that we know and love. It's just he just went completely missing last season. I think Conte had a lot to do with that, though, just killing his confidence. But yeah, for me, Heung-min Son is just like a different threat this season. We know what his finishing's like. He's absolutely lethal. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing him playing tomorrow in that position, and who would back against him scoring tomorrow as well. So let's go through that lineup again, guys. Big Vic in goal, Vicario, and then obviously the 4 across the back, Pedro Porro, Christian Romero, Mickey van der Ven, Destiny Doggy, Yves Bissouma, Pat Matassar in the double pivot, with Dejan Kulusevski, James Maddison, Brennan Johnson in the three behind Heung-min Son. Now, if that is the lineup, guys, I am going for a 3-1 victory for Spurs. I'm just really confident, guys, going into this game. Let's not take it lightly, though. Chelsea are not going to turn up and just roll over. But the first goal is huge in this game. If Tottenham get it and get it early and we start well, it could even be more than 3, guys. But I'm gonna go for a conservative 3-1 win. I just think that we've got too much about us at the moment. They're playing us at the wrong time, and everything just seems to be landing for us right now. And I just think with the atmosphere that the fans that we will create and everything about Poch coming back, I just think we're gonna just have too much for them, guys. So that for me, I think 3-1 victory. What's your score prediction, guys? Do you agree with my predicted lineup as well? If you don't, tell me who would you put in? Who's knocking on the door? Who's on the bench at the moment? Who could start? Who could play? I think that is one issue with Spurs, isn't it? That squad depth that we, other than Højbjerg, who would be man number 12, and obviously Brennan Johnson, 13. Who is there really that is potentially replaceable for another player in that first 11? I think that is the issue, isn't it? But Ben Davies, is he probably man number 14? But then you see not a massive drop off in quality, but you do see a drop off in quality when you play Davis instead of a Doggy. But so January is going to be a huge month for us. I want to see at least 2 players come in that can fit right into the right, who could be immediate first team players. But yeah, that would be my lineup, guys. 3-1 for me in tomorrow's big game. And if we can do it, guys, wow, just be back up at the top of the league. And then we go away at Wolves in the lunchtime kickoff on Saturday. They've just got beat by Sheffield United. That's going to be a really tough game. So, but yeah, one game at a time, guys. One game at a time. Next up, it's Chelsea. Can't wait. Also, let me know in the comments the reaction that Pochettino is going to get. I'm so torn on this. Personally, if it was me at the stadium, I would not boo. I wouldn't boo him. I think he did too much for us in the years that he was at Tottenham manager. The memories where he took the club. We were so close, weren't we, to winning something, whether or not it was the Premier League or the Champions League. Got close a couple of times in the FA Cup as well. But at the same time, I do understand that, as a Tottenham manager, you don't go to 2 clubs. You don't go to Arsenal and you don't go to Chelsea. And it was, it's obviously just really painful for all Tottenham fans just to see him in a Chelsea tracksuit in their dugout, and it's going to be pretty hard to see him tomorrow as well. And that's despite the fact that we all love Ange, and we're loving Big Ange instead. But it's still gonna be hard to see Pochettino in the away dugout. But yeah, my advice to the Spurs fans that are going to the game tomorrow is, just cheer the team on, support the boys, make it a cauldron, make it an atmosphere. All the Big Ange instead songs, and really make it a really intimidating place. And I think we will, because the stadium is just turning into an absolute fortress at the moment, and I think it's going to be game number 5 that we win at home tomorrow. So anyway, guys, this has been a slightly longer video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I put out a couple of videos each week, either with match previews, match reactions. I'm thinking of, obviously, I want to do more content for you guys as well. If you have any ideas, drop them in the comments. Let me know. I'll probably be putting out a player ratings probably during the week as well, and judging the players for their performances this season out of 10. Guys, have a wonderful rest of your weekend. The next video will be coming tomorrow evening after we've watched Tottenham again at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Let's hope that boys can do it. Let's hope that we can get back to the summit of the Premier League. What a feeling that would be, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and as always, come on you Spurs.